Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ice-Burgh To Go, your daily dose of Pittsburgh Penguins news and analysis. You can find us on YouTube at Inside the Penguins or anywhere you get your podcasts from. The Pittsburgh Penguins came away with a 3-0 victory yesterday on home ice against the Seattle Kraken. It was a solid victory for the team in black and gold, but that's not what this special bonus episode of Ice-Burgh To Go is really circled around. As you probably already know from clicking on the link, this is about former Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury and the history that he made last night with the Minnesota Wild after a 5-0 victory over the New York Islanders. I mean, outside of already helping the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are in a dogfight with the New York Islanders for playoff positioning in the Eastern Conference, the 5-0 victory for the Minnesota Wild is certainly appreciated by those in Pittsburgh circles. But the 39-year-old netminder, in addition to the shutout, secured his 552nd career win. And for those who don't know why that number in particular is so special, is because it is one more than legendary Hall of Fame goaltender Patrick Waugh. Yes, that's right. Marc-Andre Fleury passes Patrick Waugh for second all-time in NHL history in wins for a goaltender. The only goaltender that has more wins, Martin Brodeur, who has an astounding 691, probably never going to be surpassed by anybody in any circle. But Marc-Andre Fleury now sits number 2 on the all-times win list in the history of the National Hockey League. Of those 552 victories, 375 of them came as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Fleury was drafted first overall back in 2003 by the Pittsburgh Penguins, one of few goaltenders that have ever been taken first overall. The Penguins took a gamble on taking an 18-year-old from the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles, and it has certainly paid off as the Hall of Famer, the future Hall of Famer, I should say, is getting ready to finish off his career. He currently holds several records for the Penguins organization when it comes to netminders. First in the organization in wins with 375. First in the organization in saves with 17,774. And he also holds first place with the Pittsburgh Penguins organization in shutouts with 44. Not to mention, as we all know, Marc-Andre Fleury, a 3-time Stanley Cup champion with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2009. He was the workhorse. He was the guy that led the Pittsburgh Penguins all the way to Game 7 against the Detroit Red Wings and all the way until 5 seconds remaining when he shut down Hall of Famer and probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest defenseman of all time, Nicklas Lidstrom, with a diving shoulder save that will go down in history for the Pittsburgh Penguins as it is currently immortalized on their mural up in PPG Paints Arena. In 2016, he was a supporting actor. Matt Murray had come to fruition, and Marc-Andre Fleury sat on the bench and watched his successor take the reins and take the Pittsburgh Penguins to a Stanley Cup championship. And then in 2017, he got the opportunity to help with another Stanley Cup championship. He got him halfway there with stellar performances in the opening round as well as the second round against the Washington Capitals, getting them halfway to the point in 2017, Matt Murray taking them the rest of the way and solidifying the third Stanley Cup of the Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, and yes, the Marc-Andre Fleury era. He was drafted in the expansion draft shortly after that Stanley Cup championship victory to the Vegas Golden Knights, and his career has gone on from there. A Vezina trophy in 2021, as well as the Jennings trophy in 2021 that he shared with backup goaltender Robin Lehner. And there's no doubt that at the end of the day, whether it be this year, because he's on the last year of his contract, or it be a couple years down the road, who knows? The 39-year-old still looks pretty spry for his age between the pipes. Who knows where his journey ends? But we do know, who knows when his journey ends, but we do know where it's going to end, and that is in Toronto as a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. The Penguins may have closed the door on the potential return for 29. They signed Tristan Jarry to a 5-year extension worth about $5 million, labeling him as the number 1 starter of the future for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then they went out and found a very good backup option in Alex Nedeljkovic, and I understand Nedeljkovic is here on a 1-year contract, and maybe, just maybe, he plays himself out of Pittsburgh He prices himself out of Pittsburgh. He's played very well to this point, and it might be difficult for the Penguins to retain him. Somebody else might want to give him starter money, seeing him bounce back in the way that he has. But at the end of the day, right now, the Penguins, they're good in goaltender. And you even go into next year, they have a very promising young goalie in Yoel Blomqvist, just named to the AHL All-Star game in his first season in North America. So the return to Pittsburgh for Marc-Andre Fleury, the door seems very closed on it. I would never say never, but the door seems very closed on that potential return. And regardless, like I said, he might be finished after the season anyway. He's on the last year of his contract. He's certainly getting that kind of recognition everywhere he goes. We talked about, or at least we saw, his final game against the Montreal Canadiens. It seems as if the story might be coming to an end for Marc-Andre Fleury, but it's coming to an end in the history books. It's coming to an end as one of the greatest goaltenders to ever play the sport of hockey in the National Hockey League. And I just wanted to give him a quick shout out here on a special edition of the Ice-Burgh To Go, because he is a Pittsburgh Penguins icon. He is a Pittsburgh Penguins legend. If they start doing Pittsburgh Penguins Hall of Fame, he would be in it. And there is question about whether or not his jersey ends up in the rafters at PPG Paints Arena when all is said and done. That's a discussion for another day, though. I just want to send out one final congratulations to Penguins legend, Penguins icon, and future Hall of Fame goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury. It's a great accomplishment to pass one of the best all-time in Patrick Waugh. Again, very hard for him to probably get another, 139 victories to catch Martin Brodeur, but second all-time is not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. That's going to do it for this special edition of Ice-Burgh To Go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember, you can find us on YouTube at Inside the Penguins or anywhere you get your podcast from by simply searching Tip of the Ice-Burgh. The Penguins are in the midst of a 4-day break. They'll be back in action on Saturday night at 10 p.m., taking on the defending champion Vegas Golden Knights. But until then, we'll have updates for you. We'll talk a little bit more about the mid-season and what we saw in the first 41, what you can expect in the second 41, especially with a couple of key dates coming up for the NHL. Penguins obviously getting their bye week here in a couple weeks. All-Star break coming up at the end of the month. And then 1 month from then, we have the NHL trade deadline. Will the Penguins sell? Will they buy? What will they do, and what is the direction of this organization in the short term and in the long term? We're going to try to find some of those answers here in the next couple of months. It's going to be a wild ride to the end of the season. It's already been a crazy season. A lot of milestones in Pittsburgh, and as I talked about here on this episode, a milestone for a former Pittsburgh Penguin in Marc-Andre Fleury. But that's it for this one. We'll see you guys next time.